This is the plaintiff, Mecca Jones. She says she and the defendant have done business together for 19 years. So this is an incredible shock to be here today suing her. The woman hired her to cook for a large event she was having, then months later unceremoniously dumped her. She went to great expense buying supplies, hiring staff, and promoting the event, and the woman owes her $5,000, just the amount she's suing for today. This is the defendant, Jean Miller. She says the plaintiff flaked out on her at the last minute, didn't return her calls, and she was worried there may not be food at the event, so she had to go to Plan B. At the last minute, she hired her pastor's son's catering business to supply the food. The situation the plaintiff finds herself in today is totally her own fault, and she owes nothing. She's accused of unfriending a longtime friend.
All parties, please raise your right hands.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case in the docket. The plaintiff was hired to cook for the defendant at a big shindig but got stiffed. The defendant says the plaintiff flaked out. It's the case of, I'm a cook, you're a crook.
Litigants have been sworn, Your Honor.
Thank you, Douglas.
You're welcome, ma'am.
Mecca Jones.
Yes.
Doing business as Divas International Soul Food. You're suing Jean Miller and Tropical Reflections Ballroom for $5,000 that you say you were out as a result of her breaching a contract. According to you, she's the one who breached. Okay, what happened?
Okay, me and Miss Miller, we had business on two different levels. At first, it was the security company where me and Miss Miller got into an argument over.
Well, let's backtrack a second. How long have you two known each other?
20 years or more.
And are you friends? Were you friends?
We did socialize outside of the business.
Okay. So now, what business are you in and what business is she in?
I am in the business of security as well as now catering.
So now you had an event scheduled with her.
Right.
On a date where it didn't go so well, I guess because of the weather?
Yes, that was back in July.
I
paid for
and
it.
as a result of that, according to you, she made you and other vendors an offer that you could have a table at her next event.
Yes.
Even though it was an act of God, because she can't control the weather.
Right.
Right? Okay. So now this next event comes, and what goes wrong?
What happens is she calls me and she says she's doing the next pop-up event, which is it was called the Real Black Friday.
The Real Black Friday, and it was going to take place on what date?
December 23rd of 2015.
Wow, that's kind of cutting it close for purchasing for Christmas, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay.
But that's up to her. That's her event.
Okay, so it was going to happen on the 23rd.
Yes.
And she, according to you, she hired you to do what?
Be the only food vendor at the event, because that's what I negotiate. When I do events, pop-up vendor events, I negotiate with the person that is organizing it that I would be the only food vendor there so that I maximize the profit on what I'm selling.
So a pop-up event is what?
It's when a host of different vendors, assorted vendors selling all sorts of different things, get together under one roof, and they're like a mini mall.
Okay, it's kind of like a flea market.
Yeah,
pretty much.
All right, but
no
it's
fleas,
but it's
no
not
fleas.
no fleas. But it's not there full time. It's just for the one day.
The one day.
And then you do that how many times a year?
Oh, I just did it one time then too because I felt bad. I didn't like what I saw on TV with the Black Friday. How I thought it was my people first, but then it was all nationalities fighting and beating each other.
Oh yeah, honey. Trust me, you do not have a monopoly on this. Okay, you haven't lived. Okay.
So I felt bad about that. And I decided I wanted to do something to help small businesses. I'm a small business, but I'm a little larger than those businesses. To help small businesses get together and I called it the Real Black Friday because it was 2 days before Christmas, and let people come and shop with these small vendors who are unable to have their goods in Macy's and Walmarts and Targets because they're small vendors.
And I take it, I take it no. Were you targeting African Americans?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and were all the vendors African American?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Hence, that's the Real Black Friday, right? It's not lost on me. It's a catchy name. So you don't have to get away from it and say you were trying to do public service. Just call it what it is. All right.
Yes, ma'am.
So you hire her to do security and be the only food vendor.
No, she was not doing security.
Right.
Okay. Well, according to you, you were doing security,
No.
and then all of a sudden, you weren't.
No, that wasn't the case. The case was we had the argument about security.
Well, why would you argue about security if you're not security there?
What it was is I do provide security for her venue when she has other events, not per se this one that I was to cook for. What happens is Ms. Miller would give me a schedule in the beginning of the week telling me how many men she need for what event, what time, how they should be dressed. She gave me a schedule for 5 days. I made the schedule for the week. And each...
Were those 5 days were not the pop-up event?
No, it was not.
Okay, those 5 days, were there other events on those days?
Yes, there were other events that she rented out her ballroom for. So what happened is I made the schedule for those 5 days. Each day, Ms. Miller called me back and told me to cut one of my security off because she wanted to put someone else in their place. The first day I did it. The second day I complained. The third day, that's when I got upset and started refusing because I told her I'm running a business here. This is not hokey pokey where 1 minute a guard is in and 1 minute a guard is out. These people rely on me when I call them and say, you have work today, and they accept it. They count on that money. I told her, I said, you know something? I'm running a company. I can't do this. If you prefer that person to be there, then you let that person provide security for you.
Okay. All this is for what day?
Friday was the 18th.
Friday was the 18th. Okay, go ahead.
We got into the argument, the back and forth, and I told her, I said, listen, I'm out on security.
What's the day that you say I'm not providing security? You say it on the 18th?
I say that on the 17th, I believe.
About the 18th? About
the 18th.
Okay, were you supposed to be providing security?
No. I told her I'm no longer providing security. I'm out. This is the end of security.
Okay, and then...
So she texts me and she asks me, well, are you still going to cook for the event?
Okay, because the event is 5 days later.
Which is the December 23rd.
Right.
And I text her back and I said, one thing has nothing to do with the other. These are two different businesses.
Right.
So she texts me back, you've been replaced.
When does she text you back?
On the Friday.
What day, number, what day?
That's the 18th, I believe. I have it in the text messages here.
Let me see the text messages. Can I see them in an actual phone and not printed out? Do you have them in your phone? While she's looking, tell me about the argument about the
Okay,
security.
but may I say something first, which I don't want it to prejudice the case of anything? You're still the best-looking judge.
Oh, goodness. Thank you.
And you still have the hottest clerk.
I do. Well, that's for darn sure that I got the hottest bailiff.
Don't let that interfere with the case.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
I'm sure you also think I'm adorable, and so is he, right? Okay. All right. So what happens here? She wants to put her people. You want to put your person. You guys end up in a disagreement about the security.
Well, you see, since I am the person who's doing the paying, I am the person that can determine who I want to work for me.
Right, but you understand what she's saying. If you ask her to put people to work, and she does, she doesn't want to look bad in front of her employees saying, change my mind, you're not working.
I understand.
So she wants advance notice. All right, now talk to me about the food. What happened?
The food vendorship, I called Miss Jones up to the night before to find out if she's going to be doing this cooking because I have a legal liquor license. You cannot have liquor in the premises for sale without having food. She never replied yes that she was going to come in. So at the ultimate midnight hour, I had to ask someone else to come and cook. That person, of course, because it was the last minute, was unable to procure and prepare the food in time. So that person came extremely late to the event. By the time that person came to the event...
why was somebody else coming to the event? She had texted you back. One thing has nothing to do with the other.
But I text her back asking her, is she coming? Is she coming? Is she coming? She probably deleted those texts.
Well, no, show it to me on your phone.
No, I don't have them. I have a new phone.
Okay.
I have a new phone.
Then you have a new phone.
December 23rd, I have a new phone. But I'm saying that no doubt she deleted those because why would I get somebody else the night before?
I see the argument taking place on these texts on December 18th. Jean, I already have the 3 guards set. Please, we're not doing this again. Because you had changed it to 2 guards. And she says, I'm not going to run my blood pressure up today. I'm not removing anyone. Let me know what you're doing. If Candy has to work and I have to remove someone, let her provide security. Have a good day, Jean. And then you say, okay, then you don't work. I will let her run my door. Bye. And you say, thanks. I will call you later. I'm with a client. I mean, keep the 3 security. She will work my door. So you're actually telling her to forget the security. And then you ask the pivotal question, and will you still be cooking for the pop-up? Her answer is, one has nothing to do with the other.
Okay.
That means she's cooking.
Okay.
And you answer, your problem is you're too disrespectful. You want to throw people aside like they're, oh no, that's her. Like they're nothing. Grow up. You never replied, so you lose.
Okay.
Simple.
Okay.
Would you
She
like to
never-
see this in order?
She never replied.
She did, though. You didn't
No, no,
scroll
no.
up. You
No,
did
no,
what
no.
my husband does. You see, she wrote to you twice, and you didn't scroll up to see the top one.
Your Honor, there are texts that you're looking at that were deleted.
Good.
I reached her.
Then you prove that to me. That's all I need you to do is prove what you're saying. Okay?
So, you know,
we have two
no, I
different
don't
things.
want her to
No,
think
no,
that-
I need you to listen, not
Okay,
talk.
sorry.
We have several different issues going on here right now, okay? One issue is the security job, which actually is your issue, it's not mine, because the security job, it appears that you have both let just go its own way. It's what causes the second issue, which is what's in front of me.
Right.
The second issue is you not being allowed to cook and sell and whatever damages you may sustain from it.
Right.
Okay?
Can I sit for a second, Your Honor?
Oh, can you sit? Yes, you can sit. Since I am being replaced, please kindly refund my money for the flyer and for the table I previously paid. Thank you so much. To which you answer, off. So professional. So now, what is it you're suing for?
Right
you're
now,
suing for $30 in flyers. What is
the
that?
$30 she charged everybody that's on this flyer, if you have a copy.
Okay.
$30 to put their name and business on the flyer as promotion for the Real Black
Okay,
Friday.
is that accurate?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, then you're suing for $350.10 in supplies.
Yes.
What kind of supplies?
I had to go and buy the styrofoam plates that I serve and sell the food in. I had to also buy aluminum pans, sterners, the
Okay,
burners.
all of which is usable for your next event, right?
It is.
Okay. And then you're also suing for $150 in food. You bought food 5 days in advance?
Yes, what I do, and Ms. Miller also knows this, I had an event on the Saturday. So instead of me going back and forth, as you can see, I can't go back and forth all the time. So I bought it in a lump sum one time while I had the ride. And I do pre-season my meat so that it has the taste that I need.
Well, you pre-season it for a week?
Yes, and then I defreeze it. Like,
Oh, you
like if
pre-season
I
it and then
like
you
if I
freeze
do jerk pork, I will season it and then I will deep freeze it this way that it takes the flavor.
Oh, I'm so hungry.
Trust me.
Do you have the receipts?
I have the receipts here for the supplies, the food.
The supplies I
did-
don't want to see.
I couldn't find the receipt for the
Well,
food.
that's the thing, you
Yeah.
see, because the supplies, I
told
would
her
never
that.
award you because that's something you can use for your next event. You're not out anything.
Okay.
The food, you might be out because you have to sell it within a certain time. It's frozen, but I don't know. But
Right.
I need to see the receipt.
I don't have that
Okay,
receipt
that's
with me.
kind of critical. Then you're suing for $3,400 for breaching the contract. I guess that's just punishment for breaching the contract because your damages for breaching a contract are what you're actually out. And then $1,080 for promotions, $30 per hour for 3 hours for 12 days. Tell me about that.
Okay, well, what it is that since she canceled me from coming to the event and I wasn't able, all the promotion that I did via text message, via WhatsApp, via Facebook at the pop-up events that I did prior to hers, all of that was for her benefit, not mine, because she told me I couldn't come. And
What about the time that you did in July? When you sold all of the food, about how much in profit do you make?
I double in half.
I double in half. I do not know what that means.
So why is it that when people get in a conflict, they tend to escalate things rather than trying to solve them?
Human nature. A lot of people don't have common sense.
Okay, I mean, why is it human nature? I'm not sure I understand that.
I think it's pride. It's just their pride that gets involved.
Nobody wants to say they're wrong.
Exactly. So
What do you say?
Well, because they're just mad. They don't really think.
Why do they want to stay mad rather than solve?
Well, it's a human need.
You know what, honestly, you're not going to solve this here. Let's get real. Okay, going inside the courtroom.
I spend $150. I make back the $150.
Right.
And then I make $150 on top of it
That's
plus
it.
$75.
Okay, so
that
then
would,
your profit-
That would be your minimum profit.
I got it. Your minimum profit is $225.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
And how could you have more profit than?
How can you have
'Cause
more
you
profit?
charge more
Because of the
sometimes?
way, right? You have to do the ratio of what you spend to how you
You
sell your food.
short-change somebody on just how much you put on their plate, get a little more left over?
No, but you do put out there that if you buy an $8 plate, you
So
get
then- okay.
one meat and one side and a vegetable.
Okay, so just let me ask you this. I could understand if you were coming to me and saying to me, Judge, I want my $30 back.
Right.
And I want what I would have made as profit because it's not fair.
Right.
Because I'm not getting the benefit of all. Because, see, you weren't supposed to be getting paid $1,080 for promotion.
No, I wasn't. The reason.
Right, the reason that you did is because you thought you'd make your profit. But if your profit is only $225 or $300, let's say $300. Let's be generous and say $300. If your profit's $300, then how is it that somebody should pay you $1,080 for not working?
Because
if you had worked the whole time, your profit would only be $300. I find that she fired you. She fired you. She breached the contract, not you.
So
I agree
what
with
I'm
you.
saying, the
what I'm
reason
trying
why
to
I
get
got
at
to
is
that-
what is a legitimate measure of your damages?
But she breached.
Who did you end up hiring to do the cooking?
Just a
Is
small
it moral
local-
support or a witness?
No, she's one of the vendors that was there.
Okay.
There were absolutely 5 patrons that attended this event. I saved her money. I have the weather report for you. It rained the entire...
On the 23rd?
It rained
Come
the
on out.
entire...
Hi, what's your name?
Hi, my name is Tracy Anderson.
Okay, were you there at this event?
Yes, I was.
And it didn't go well?
It didn't go well at all.
It didn't go well.
It rained.
Because it rained.
Yeah.
Why is everybody so afraid of a little rain?
We melt.
Honest to God, it's just a little rain. Who cares?
I
All
don't
right.
think it had anything to do with the ring. I think God doesn't like ugly. You can't be
Well,
as malicious.
What do you say about her position that she saved you money? Because
Thank
instead of
you,
having
Your
a bunch of
Honor.
food go bad,
Thank you,
you
Your
didn't even
Honor.
have to cook the food.
Let me
Because if the
explain-
vendors didn't make
let me
any money, they
explain.
couldn't
Your
afford
Honor,
to buy
I'm sick
any
of both
food.
of you. So I'm gonna have to wrap this up, ladies. Let me just tell you something. I'm kind of ashamed for both of you.
Yes.
I tell my children, say it, forget it, write it, regret it. I would never expect to tell a couple of businesswomen this. But you're so busy being angry at the other one that each of you just keep upping the ante of nastiness and cursing and unprofessionalism, and it's ridiculous. You've got to always think about where you are taking this to. Are you taking it to court by your continued behavior, or are you de-escalating? And there's a point where she's trying to de-escalate, and you're not. And you're not. So you breached the contract, but it's not in the amounts that you are claiming here. What you are entitled to is my best estimates of the lost profits. And yes, it's relevant when a vendor comes in and says, hey, there was nobody there. Because that goes into the factoring in the analysis of the lost profits. I'm going to rule in your favor and the amount of $300, verdict for the plaintiff. Good luck, ladies. But analyze your behaviors.
Thank you.
Well, Judge Millian rules that it's the defendant who breached this contract right here. What's your reaction to that?
There was never a contract.
Deal, verbal, whatever.
There was never a contract.
Could you have done more to keep the temperature a little lower rather than
the
lighting a
bottom
fire
line is
under
that
this thing?
I called on the phone to verify, are you coming? That wouldn't show up on a text. That would only show up that I called.
So you're telling me that's how you tried to lower
I
the temperature?
tried to get her to still cook the food. I still wanted her to cook the food.
All right. Right down this way. All right, so you sued for a lot more than, you sued for more than you got. You satisfied how this finally is resolved?
To tell you the truth, I sued for more than I got, yes, because, I put in energy into promoting her event. If she would have had to have someone else promote her event, she would have had to pay for that.
19 years you two been working together?
19 years.
How could you two allow this to get to such a nasty point?
What she needs to realize is I'm not the young lady that first started working for her. I am now a grown businesswoman, and I run a business. Yes, you are a boss in your business, and I'm a boss in mine. Let me delegate my business, and you delegate yours, and we wouldn't have this problem. You can't delegate both.
What do you think, Harvey?
You know, Kurt, the judge made such a good point that when people are in a conflict, you got to think of the end game, that it does nobody any good. Nobody wins when you end up at war in court. Problem solving is the key to life.